Hey everyone, welcome to Upload Special Election Edition. Woo! Unfortunately, Andrew Moody got his balls caught in a bear trap again, so he's not able to join us, which is unfortunate. But we have replaced him with someone even better, Rouvan Silogix.
When he says better, he means like as a human being, like just like morally, ethically,
and physically.
Physically for sure. Yes, that's the.
Yeah. It's funny because I destroyed our entire order. I planned out how I was going to introduce everyone, and then totally contravened. And it hurts. It hurts. To my right, the effervescent Lou Taylor.
The world's fucked.
And as always, our self-hating white man, Todd Van Allen.
Today I have Georgia on my mind.
Now, I will say today's episode is going to be a little bit different because usually we hit a lot of different topics in the sort of political arena. But right now, I think the election sort of encapsulates almost like all of the different headlines that we've been talking about the last few months. It's like we've really been pushing so heavily toward this moment. And then, of course, it's this perpetual anticlimax where we still don't really know who's going to win, although it looks like Biden. So let's start there. Like, who do we think is actually going to win this thing?
Yeah, dead silence.
It's done. Right. It's over. Biden's won. Trump is going to whine and bitch, but I mean, it's done. He's going to have to flip like either 2 big states on recounts or like 4 little ones, and it's not going to happen. I'm not saying it's a good or bad. I just think Biden has edged it.
Yeah.
I think it depends on whether you're talking about it on a political level or an existential level. On a political level, sure, for Biden, existential. What did I say before? The world is fucked.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like we like this was telegraphed to us ages ago. Like anyone who has watched this show and anyone who has thought of anything over the past month, 2 months, knew this was going to happen. As soon as they started deregulating the post office, as soon as they started to intervene with the election process, we knew that this was going to happen. And we knew that he would want to stand up and get his participant ribbon at the end of this, saying, "I have won, and would not wait for the votes to come." And they're coming, and hats off to the governments in place right now, at the state level, that are just barreling through and going, "No, we're doing our job, and that's what we're going to do." And it's like he's having a tantrum off in the other room, and everyone is just quietly counting, and then we're going to see what the result is. So. Thankfully, that has occurred, and I don't think it matters a jot as to how much he lawyers up and tries to intervene there. He has no evidence. There is zero evidence to support any sort of claims that he has made thus far. When news agencies are shutting off your speech and going, "That's enough," you've done something.
Okay, I have a question for all of us here, and I think that it certainly is looking like Biden is going to win. I mean, it is hard to sort of trust the media, but, I've been looking at left-wing and right-wing media the entire time that I've been on this podcast. And even the right-wing media is already starting to like make excuses and concede and start to be like, oh, well, it's because. So it leads me to believe that everyone is sort of slowly achieving consensus that Biden is going to win. So here's my question. My question is, does he have to win by like a specific margin? Like, does he have to win the thing by at least 20 electoral college votes in order for some of this stuff to go away? Like, if it's within like 10 electoral college votes, is it going to go to the Supreme Court? Is it going to be like this perpetual legal clusterfuck? Like, what are we saying?
Yeah,
I mean, you're asking. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're our guest.
In which case, now that we've broken that boundary, I'm ready.
No, you're the guest. Talk over me.
I have a platform. No, look, I mean, you're asking about like what's if you're asking literally what's going to happen, like it's over. Trump is going to whine and bitch. He may run again in 4 years. I can't even think about shit like that. But Joe Biden's going to be president. Kamala Harris is going to be vice president. What is not going to go away are the problems in the world, which I can go on about, but I think they are. But the problems in America, certainly, like this is just proven, and crazy statistic. Joe Biden is the most voted for president ever. And Donald Trump is now the second most, voted for president ever. Just pure numbers.
Yeah, but that's just because people fuck.
People fuck a lot in the last 4 years, apparently. But
yeah.
You are right.
Lots of babies.
Well, it's not just that they fuck. I mean, they also have decidedly come out to vote.
Yeah, which is probably a good thing. And the fact that this is just showing how much like disharmony and polarization there is, which I think any kind of shedding light on any kind of truth is a good thing.
Can I go? Oh.
I'm done.
Okay. I want to go back a bit to something we were talking about before. And I think most of us agreed, especially during the debates, that, and this is something I think that played out maybe not as strongly as some people think, but it's going to play out in the future after Biden wins, right? And that is that many Trump supporters looking for someone on the other side that they felt they could vote for were completely disappointed by Biden. Most progressives, even if they voted for him, were like completely like, I mean, we talked about it. We were all just like, oh my God, this guy is not a presidential choice we would make. And I'm saying that because the centrist wing of the Democrats are already blaming the progressives.
Are they really?
Oh yeah, they're hammering. They're saying like, oh, the Democrats. This is I could give a shit about Biden winning. This is like the Republicans are going to fuck the next 4 years. And the Democratic Party is going to implode. So, I could give a damn about the electoral.
It's going to be interesting that you say that. It's interesting you say that because I think both parties are going to have that problem. You're going to have the progressive side that is going to start eroding at the like, let's put it this way. Biden was the put out the fire in the kitchen first. That's all Biden was. And then the next 4 years are going to be trying to figure out, okay, how do you fix the kitchen? What's going to happen is, and Rouv, you bring up a fantastic point of like, will he run again in 4 years? Will Trump do it? I don't think the GOP has a lot of choice because they have soiled their beds so badly in all of this. Like, no one is going to want to take control of that party. They can't, because so many of the people, like Lindsey Graham getting back in again, he is a huge toady that could never ever participate in leadership ever again. So there are so many people that have damaged themselves by ponying up to Trump. Trump is their only option at this point. So you're going to see both parties crumbling over the next 4 years trying to figure shit out. And it's going to be horrible, yet hilarious to watch.
The thing I think, though, my thoughts on that are that I think the Republicans already went through that. And we've seen the results. The Dems are about to go through it. And you make a good point, because now I'm thinking, my God, if Ted Cruz ran again, can you imagine Ted Cruz as the milk and toast of the Republicans? Like, there's no way Republican voters, especially staunch voters, are going to go with what we would have considered the hardest right fuckers in existence.
So, okay, so this makes me think to the question that I had asked to start this segment about margin of victory, right? Is like, do we, like, already people are starting to talk about 2024. Already people are starting to talk about, did Biden underperform? Because it's very interesting. Like, he was up, what, like 10 points in the polls, 7 points in the polls. And now it's like we have this like 3-day extravaganza where we don't even know who won. And in my view, like, it's not that Biden won this election. It's that Trump rightfully lost this election by just saying the most deplorable, disgusting things for 4 years that anybody could say. And yet he hasn't even officially lost yet.
Says something about the country, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
But
also
at
says
least
something about Biden.
Exactly.
it's
True,
it's
exactly.
it's not just America, you know, like this is clearly
Oh,
going on all over the place. I was just in Germany, and let me tell you, man, Germany is behind the fucking times, like seriously, and all of Europe is.
Again?
And they have this
Yeah.
again. Well, I don't think they ever were not, you know. I think that was just them like not being important enough to contend with, you know. Look,
They
you know,
had
like
two banner periods there where they kind of caught a lot of interest. Let's be fair.
I'm finding the optimism here like quite amazing, you know, like
Yeah.
I feel like the opposite thing is going to happen. You know, Democrats or the party and Wall Street and all the donors, they're all going to be like, ooh, we can win with these dickhead centrists, you know, like we can do this. We need to double our efforts to take down AOC and all the shitheads I love. And the Republicans, I don't even know where they go from here. Clearly there's so much polarization. Is no one worried about that? Like 69 million people voted for Trump. Like, holy shit, you know?
What's
That's the
interesting for
number.
me,
That's the number that
Yeah.
astounds me. Sorry, Lou. I just want to say, like it's weird. Like we always knew there were Trump supporters, right? We knew that. We see his rallies and stuff like that. But to put a figure like 69 million assholes, like people you wouldn't want to sit beside on a bus.
But it can't be like that, right? Like
Yeah.
they have to be our neighbors and our friends, right? I can't believe, not to be all like serious, you know, I can't believe that these guys are all like, that's a lot of people. That's like half the world, you know?
Mhm.
Then we're just fighting.
Yeah.
We're ready for war.
yeah, but you know, I'm going to play the black card here now.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm so in.
My family, my family background is escaped slaves from the States. And just going back every once in a while and the legacy of that American experience, this did not surprise us at all. It would not surprise me if a similar kind of outcome happened in Canada. You talk about just coming back from Europe. Man, I will not go back to that region, which, come on, guys, it's West Asia. Shut the fuck up. Postage stamp fronting like you're a continent. but I'm like, I will not go back unless someone's paying me. Like the racist shit and just Europe reminds me of Canada in the 70s. Right. I remember being in Amsterdam and making a statement saying, well, you know, with the white Dutch and watching these two white folk go, what? White Dutch? What? Like people of color, and I'm sure it's the same now, and were in no way, shape, or form considered Dutch by white people.
Okay, wait. My turn to play
Speaking
the
of
brown
racial
card.
tension, I'm just going to segue a little bit, and this will be good for you, Rouvan. But I do think we're talking about racial tension, and now we have this situation where this election is going to be resolved any hour now. It sounds like. What is that climate going to be like? You know, we've been worried about violence. We've been worried about, you know, this sort of bifurcated tribalism in the United States. So are we anticipating racial violence as soon as they announce the winner?
When hasn't there been racial violence?
Right.
Yeah, but like in a really pronounced way, right?
I think there will be.
This has been the fear, and you have been talking about this a lot, Lou, right? Is that how many people are going to die as soon as they declare a victor?
Well, thankfully, this time around, there's a lot of white pro-black folk who will don't have the experience that black people have of knowing when the hell to get out of Dodge. And I think they're going to take the bullets.
Also true.
Yeah. Black folk are going to be like, oh shit, here it comes.
Yeah. No. Hey, where are you guys going? The post that kind of struck me the most, I can't remember who the apologist was yesterday. He was complaining about people on the left going, hey, as much as you are saying Trump is garbage and he needs to go away, also keep in mind that you're also besmirching the names of the people who support him. And
Yeah.
mine was very similar to my repost to that was pretty common in the thread beneath it, which was thank God I do love not having to say fuck you twice. So I'm fine with it. You made your
What
bed.
do you think? What do you
hitched up
think
to the
about this,
post.
Roof? What do you think about this, Roof? I know that you've been talking a lot about how divided the United States are, and you spent some time in the United States, right? You lived there for a while.
Yes, I I feel like there's definitely going to be some blowback, and I think you are smart to mention it because things are going to get worse before they get better. To play the brown card, I find it kind of rich, that Canada like sees itself as so much more progressed in these kind of social ways than America, because Canada is racist as fuck, my friends. And also
In this
little
room
things
alone.
in this room alone, in this it's also like the American military and the Canadian military, because the reason the Canadian military exists is primarily to be the American military's bitch. Have been in the Middle East like pretty much my whole life, my whole parents' lives and their parents' lives. We're going back to probably about the 50s, and I find a lot of this kind of shit, like, it's very selective what we care about, which is why I choose not to make kind of these, because moral judgments in my heart about everything. I know that sounds weird what I'm saying, but it feels like if we don't come together, then there's just war. I mean, and maybe that's good, by the way. Maybe that is good. So maybe we should be preparing for war,
I wouldn't have a problem with that if I wasn't worried about the present day arsenals.
Now, do you mean war in Canada versus the United States, or a civil war within the United States?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, like a civil war in the United States. I mean, I'm down to take those motherfuckers down, but we need to get some more backing. I don't know.
Good luck with that.
It's funny, like when you think about the Cold War and the contemporary wars today, China and the US have been going at each other silently for like the last 2 decades, especially in the last decade. To me, it seems that contemporary wars are economic wars.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it really is a war, has been happening, right?
Yeah.
Instead of will a war happen, I think like this is the war. And I think this bifurcated media narrative, which is really like two main media tribes competing against each other, and both of them, like, they make so much money and they say the exact opposite stuff, right? Like, do we think that the US is smack dab in the middle of a civil war right now?
No, no, not yet. And I think when you look at the mainstream media at this point, what you're seeing are the tribes of Pravda. Right. They are essentially the Russian propaganda instrument for two different tribes. And more people are turning away from them. I don't think, I mean, if we're talking about economic warfare, and that's the doctrine of, what was his name? The Colin Powell, right?
Right.
Like, if you're going to get into a war, make sure you can win it, i.e. kick the shit out of a 4-year-old. Right? I'm not talking about intellectual process of prowess. I'm talking about physical prowess. And it's never gone well. Yeah, because I always loved kicking the shit out of my 4-year-old. But when you look at, even with that doctrine, how many wars have they won? I mean, they got done in Vietnam. Iraq, I'm sorry, you did not win in Iraq. You did not win in Afghanistan. You are, and now you want to bring it to your own streets?
Yeah, but how many wars?
They took down Grenada.
How many wars have they won silently by just funding, rebel armies and countries?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
they're probably controlling 50% of the democracies, in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I wonder how much of that is corporate based. If you look at the covert ops options of corporations now. They're as powerful as anything state-based. So
Yeah.
It's cool that they can control so many democracies except their own. Physician, heal thyself.
Right. Well, it's interesting that you say that, though, because it's if you divide the U.S. into halves, right, which is essentially what they've done. If you look at the popular vote and the way that this election is trending, right, but half of the United States is still probably more powerful than 95% of the economies in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is a really incredibly powerful country, politically, economically. And this is what makes it so scary, right? Is that you could like bifurcate that country into two, and each of those countries could probably dominate half of the world.
I wonder about that, though, because with the globalization of economies and the rise of powerful billionaires internationally, I'm wondering if we're not seeing a centralization of a global power all aiming in the same direction. It seems that the economic policies that are taking place, while they were originally Western-driven, I don't know if that's the case anymore. I mean, you look at India, you look at China, you look at Russia. I'm not seeing a huge difference in the game being played economically or socially in any of those regions.
Well, what's your sense on that, Rouvan? I mean, I know you have family from Pakistan originally, right?
I mean, could you contextualize what you mean by that? I guess is my question. Like,
well, I guess.
Oh, you're talking about me or Bobby?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm talking about Lewis.
Oh, right. I came up in the period of the Banana Republic, right, where the world was similar to how Ontario treated the rest of Canada. The rest of the world are resources, the hinterland, and we at the center control the economic destinies of all. And what I'm seeing more and more, whereas 45% of the world's resources ended up in the States at one point, I'm not seeing that same model holding true anymore with China, with India, with more powerful states coming up, still aligned with economically, but not as weak as the banana republics of the past.
It's a funny thing, it's like, I think you're right about the way the economies and just generally the world works. We're more connected than ever. And I love that, Trump goes on and on about like coal mines. And it's like, bro, who the fuck wants to go work in a coal mine? It's like, and also like, if you believe in any kind of efficient way of production, it makes sense that, where labor is cheaper, like if you were a business owner, that's what you would do. Therefore, I can't kind of blame the business owners from being as exploitative as they are. I mean, they are very exploitative, but I mean, it feels like, so do you get, okay, serious question. Are we watching some kind of epic decline of America? Yes or no?
No.
It's been going, really? I think it's been going on for, I think it's epic in the sense of the defining manifestation of the American identity, which is white supremacy, manifest destiny, right? And the more recent one, we are an essential nation. Good luck with that.
Look, that sounds well and good, but like let's get back to that being the shit out of a 4-year-old metaphor, right? I mean, the last time I looked, and I'm sure the numbers have changed slightly, but the U.S.'s military budget was the same as the next 7 countries in the world combined. Yeah. And when you have that many military resources, you cannot lose. And maybe it's because I'm watching fucking Game of Thrones right now.
Yeah, probably.
But like, how do you? It doesn't matter. It's like you run up your jet.
You know what?
you know.
All you got is the only answer I have to that is the British Empire and every empire that's come before it, man. Like, you know, everybody thinks they're the top dog until someone comes up with a really interesting twist on an old standard and kicks the shit out of everybody around them because no one was ready for it. And all it's going to take is, with whatever your military power is based on today's judgment, all it takes is one technological shift in warfare, right? By a country that has the infrastructure to implement it, done.
What do you think about that, Todd?
I don't think there's an army out there, regardless of how big it is, that can stop a virus. That is.
Ooh, segue! Where's the segue monster?
Yeah, he's. I'm at the in-laws right now because Segway Monster is under home renovation.
Right.
So literally, I am sucking internet out of a milkshake, McDonald's milkshake straw right now. So I am just happy to be here. It's amazing to me that we had 69 million voters for Trump who somehow thought, you know what, the way he managed and is continuing to manage the COVID crisis is okay. I don't think it matters in a larger sense. You have to take a look at what is happening societally as to whether your military is necessary or not, or the size of it is as large as you need. You only need to you can only play the team in front of you. So for the U.S. right now, that is Korea and Al Qaeda. Those are the two things that he's going to go against. And
don't forget Iran.
And Iran. And since they got rid of the nuclear deal, now what? So what is going to be interesting is, in the same way that Donald Trump was control Zing his way through everything that Obama did in 8 years of being in power, it's going to be interesting to see which of the things Biden is going to control Z back to be able to kind of right the ship. Is it going to be getting the pandemic team back in order, getting someone who isn't a petroleum lobbyist out of the Environmental Protection Agency? Is it going to be negotiating a new Iran nuclear deal? They are spoiled for choice as to where to even start right now. Probably, if they're smart, they would start with COVID.
All right. Speaking of Biden running the ship, right. Speaking of Biden running the ship, though, let's talk about that. So it looks like Biden's going to be the new president of the United States. You heard it here first.
Breaking news.
But let's assume that's the case. Let's assume that's the case. Yeah. What are the next 4 years? What do the next 4 years look like in the U.S.?
Well, look, I want to say it's a funny thing because I find it like Obama, I need to say this, is like pretty much my favorite president of all time by far. But we need to realize that Obama's presidency and Biden's vice presidency literally culminated in the election of Donald fucking Trump. Sure. And I think we need to think about that in a more nuanced kind of way, because it's not as simple as 69 million people are racist. What is true is 69 million people have chosen. I mean, we're all racist, right? So I'm just trying to. The world is racist. I'm racist. You're racist. We all are fed the same racisms of the world. Yes.
I don't like brown people.
Obama's presidency and everything preceding Obama's presidency, the Clintons, Bush, Reagan, these guys have done absolutely nothing economically to help the world. We are more the economic wealth disparities more now than it's ever been. And I find that if you actually address that issue, the other issues start kind of toppling, this is my personal opinion. And I find that Biden's not going to, maybe he will, but I doubt it, it just doesn't seem like it given who his donors are. And if you're not addressing the main issue, people are going to keep voting for Trump. They're like, we hate that he's racist, or maybe we like that he's racist, but that's not why they're voting. They're voting because they don't think the Democrats are going to do shit for them.
Sure, but here's the thing: you can see from his policy that he's not doing anything for poor people. He has given the tax break to the 1% with zero regard underneath, and no one of his supports that all go to that rally who are left out in the cold have seen this. They don't. No one is getting a yacht out of this. They are still as poor. They're poor.
But that's not true. That's not true. The U.S. economy was thriving under Trump's leadership, and specifically even the black community had never had more wealth.
Yeah, no, those are
the
fudge.
economy is not driven by jobs. It's not driven by money in the pockets of the working class, and that is completely true. The economy and the stock market, if you want to look at those as indicators, they're indicators of how businesses are doing.
Yeah,
right?
it's
And
bullshit.
Okay, but let me ask you.
bullshit.
Let me
treating
ask
the
you a
working class
question.
as shit.
When you're
Let him
analyzing,
finish. Let him finish.
well, I think he is done now, right?
I'm just
I-
saying, like there is no living wage
This is
for the working poor. There is no tax break for the lower and middle class. All the tax breaks went to the 1%. So he has literally done less than nothing for these
no,
people.
it's not literally less than nothing, right? That doesn't make sense. Literally, it's not less than nothing, right? The problem is that you're analyzing the success of economy based on the people who are failing, right? Which, fair enough, like I understand that. So Biden's strategy, and now we're on to Biden's policies, is now you're going to tax the billionaires, you're going to tax the big corporations. So you're going to punish the employers, right? You're going to take away the no, but that's what you're doing. You're taking away the economic incentive from the people who hire the working class potentially.
Okay, well, my problem with the incredible shovel load of shit that you're like tossing on an already stunning mitten, or
Yeah,
pile of
even though I
shit.
studied economics in university.
Yeah, well, you studied it obviously from a certain point of view, which might have more to do with
From a correct point of view.
No, Milton Friedman, maybe Milton Friedman.
Okay, give me the economic argument where it makes more sense to incentivize
Okay, are
poor
you
people
saying
when there's no
are you
jobs for them
saying
to
that
have.
those poor people are in that position because of a over generous ruling class whose modus operandi is to get rid of as many capital costs as possible, which has been the drive
Let me ask
of
you a question.
capitalism? Answer my question.
What do you think?
Answer my question.
Your question makes no sense.
Oh.
The problem.
Then I have no problem. I have no
The
interest.
problem is you're not going to win an economic debate with me. It's not going to happen.
I don't think
But here's
I'm
my
going to
question
lose.
for you. I'll make it very, very simple for you. Okay. If you punish the employer, right? If you punish the people who create the jobs, how does that help the economy?
Here's the
This
thing.
is a fundamental.
No, you improve the economy by putting more money into it, right? So if more people are able to buy things,
How do you do that if you don't create jobs?
Well, here's the thing.
You're not creating jobs.
You're literally saying to corporations, you can have tax breaks and you don't need to pay your employees, right? You can have both of those things. So if Biden comes in and says, okay, you now have to give everyone a working wage, they go, no, we don't want to do that because that's going to cost money. Okay, then we're going to tax you more since you're not going to pay them and give them an infrastructure for their lives so that they can survive. No, that's not good.
And then you know what they do is they go and they set up their company in a different country. This is called international economics. That's why they're creating the tax breaks.
Well, that needs
That's
to
why
be
they're creating the
talked
tax
about.
breaks, or they leave.
Who do you see? Okay, so who do you see? So what is your grand strategy for finding a way to improve the life of those who have been downsized? And it's not punishment, Bobby. It is a return to a tax base that these corporations have done everything in their power to break apart. So it is not punishment of them. It is, baby, you need to pay your fair share. And yes, you're going to move. Of course you are, because you're. I'm not going to.
I understand your moral philosophy, but it doesn't happen. Look what happened in New York, right? It's like, so Cuomo started to basically make things a little more difficult for the rich people in the state of New York. And what did they do? They started leaving, right? They said, okay, well, I'll go live in Connecticut. I'll go live in other states.
Do you think anyone is coming back? Do you think any of those companies who left, by the way, during periods of Republican control, because it didn't matter whether they were being taxed or not taxed in America, they could get a cheaper deal anyways.
It's the same thing as in the Canadian film industry. Okay, the Canadian whatever province offers the biggest subsidy, that's where all the production goes. So provinces are constantly competing against each other. And we can. I agree with you philosophically, but economically, it's completely wrong. Because the economic incentive is key. And one thing I do know
I'm not
about business,
disagreeing with that.
One thing I know about
disagree
business
with
is people will always go where it's cheapest. That's why the Canadian
Yeah.
government is always like manipulating economic instruments to downgrade the value of our dollar, because the higher our dollar is relative to the US dollar, the less production
Right.
comes up here.
I absolutely agree with you. I hope you get my point, though, that there comes a point when you look at the wealth gains of the what was considered the working poor or workers or the middle class. It was all through incredible violence, storming the Bastille or whatever the hell you want to call it, and physically ripping monies back from those that were in situations of power. And it's going to happen again, as it has always happened. And then there will be a return of the movement of capital.
What do you think, Rouvan? You're conspicuously silent.
I was
through
going
this
to say,
whole debate.
Rouvan, please let someone get a word in edgewise, would you? Come on.
Sorry, Bobby and I.
Come on.
Well,
Without
I mean,
Moody, like Lou and I just won't shut the fuck up. It's great.
No. And it's not like we disagree with each other. We're just both assholes.
how are we going to fix this economic wealth, the disparity? That's it. That's the number one issue. And if that is solved in other ways, man, I think about this kind of shit a lot, you know?
Oh, that's me gone. That's me gone.
Controversial with my
What do you think,
No,
Todd?
I
Let's
was-
get Todd to jump in. Todd hasn't said anything for a while.
Because
you can have a max amount of money, okay? Max amount of money. That's it. 500 million, 2 million, whatever you want to call it. Every dollar after that just goes back into the system.
I
2
honestly,
billion, fine.
I was waiting for the internet to come back, so I have no idea what was said. I will say this: I think it's ludicrous that we have a 1% that controls so much of the wealth, and we have a working poor that is not able to provide for themselves. So that balance needs to be struck, and whether it's in dollars or blood, it's going to happen per Lou's statement, but it's going to happen.
You missed a great statement about what was it? Assassinating, drawing, and quartering Jeff Bezos.
Oh,
Yes.
I think that was
I'm
that was
sorry.
the essence of that.
We
Did Steve
go get
Bannon's
Jeff Bezos'
podcast go
money.
back up again? Because it was shut down for a bit. Did he start it up again?
Who?
Oh, Steve Bannon. He said today that he would put
Oh yeah.
Fauci's head up on a spit with another person. Weirdly,
The head of the
doesn't
FBI.
violate any terms or conditions with Spotify or anyone like that. So that's weird. He's gone.
Here's the thing about Bezos. Okay, so I mean, okay, let's say you assassinate Bezos or you redistribute his wealth, you put him in prison, whatever it is. You take his money, you give it to the poor. I guess this is the strategy. Do we really think that that no one else is going to rise up in Bezos's absence to become the next Bezos?
I love how you come up with a line that's so dismissive of what people actually said. It's great. I love it. You go, Bobby. Can we get back to the fucking election?
No, but this is related to the election because now we're talking about what's the U.S. going to look like, right? And so we're on to wealth
A
disparity.
shithole.
People are voting.
To quote a great American, a shithole.
Like, does no one else find it disconcerting that Donald Trump is the most uncouth president in the history of sort of American politics? And it's like, it's been 3 days and we still don't know if he lost. It's that close.
Yeah.
Didn't I say I was black? I think I said that. I'm black.
I think we also have to ask about like, well, why do you think people voted for him? Like, okay, the culture wars. Is that a reason that you guys are saying this is why people voted for Trump?
For me, it was summed up in Donald Trump Jr.'s speech where he was like, let's make America great again and let's make the liberals cry again. Like when you look at their policies, everything distills down to not helping their base, not even helping the American people as a whole. It literally is to try and own the libs. That's everything they've been trying to do. And in so
But-
doing, they have done so much insurmountable damage to the system that they're trying to control. It is just it's horrible to look at. But that's their motivation. That is it. There's not an economic policy. There's not a interior policy. There's not an environmental policy that isn't designed to make liberal people go, That's it. That's all they want to do.
You
I think
know,
there's. Sorry.
go
Continue.
ahead.
Well, I was going to say, for me, it's very simple. There's two main reasons why this election is so close, where I think Trump is completely unqualified. I don't hate all the Republican policies, but I think as a candidate, I don't know, the worst candidate you could ever imagine. But I think it's very simple strategically. Number one, people are fucking greedy. So even if they're poor, they want to be rich. So having policies where people can get rich is always going to make you win. And number two, 76.3% of the United States identifies as white. So if you create a race war and you favor the white side, you're always going to win.
Yeah, but again, one of the fundamental principles, defining principles of America, was based on white supremacy. We kicked the shit out of the indigenous people. We enslaved all those black people, and all those brown people are under our thumb with, our dick in whatever orifice we want to put it in with all of them, because we're also a patriarchal society and women need to shut up, which is pretty standard worldwide. I'm not suggesting it's, just an American thing.
Yes, it isn't a unique take.
No, but I think when you base another strand of your identity on upward mobility, right? You're white, you are entitled to all the riches of the world. You can get it if you try. Was that a reggae tune? Anyways, it's like if those are the core principles of your identity, you look at the erosion of white power in America, culminating in the election of Obama. Man, you are right. And anger and rage always comes out of fear. Mm-hmm. So if you have, especially in rural regions where you have very few black, brown, or whatever folk, or just pure white folk, and you are fed this line about these people, right, taking your jobs, taking over, blah, 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 it's understandable that you're going to react that way. You see the same thing playing out in Canada that I think is playing out in the States, which is, you have your Aboriginal white conflict on a rural basis, and everything else is coming from urban centers with those people.
Speaking of Canada, let's segue to how the U.S. election is going to impact our country. Because, it's funny, we talk about American politics so often, it's like you wouldn't know we're a Canadian podcast. What do we think the impact? What do we think the impact of a Joe Biden presidency could make on our country?
I think one of the things that could happen, not to jump in, but hello.
Yeah, jump in.
I think what's going to happen is that you're going to see a very, very different deals being struck up, because I think in Canada dealing with Trump, it really was just like, don't anger the baby. That's all you wanted to do. You were just like, okay, give him a little toy. Okay, the baby is fine. The baby's fine. Now we as Canadians are going to be able to negotiate with a room full of adults. And so we'll actually able to see something function. We'll have to get to have discussions with people who actually have some form of intelligence around these things, who have a knowledge, who have read a book, little things like that can help grease the wheels.
I would disagree with that, not because of all the reasons you were giving, which are all true. I just think the Democrats have no interest in that. Like, I've been watching as they blew my boy Bernie down. But here's the thing, these guys tried to fund a primary challenger to AOC. They got some Wall Street donors to give 24 or 30 million just to stop it, because they are terrified. The same way they didn't, give her any speaking time at the DNC. Like, she is the most popular politician right now, especially if we're looking for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. They don't even let her speak. It's not about do you agree with her or not. If you're running a smart party, you can tell this girl's a superstar. Like, we got to take her and use her to advance what we want to do. But they are economically just so I must sound like such a Bernie bro, huh? But
Really?
and I don't see Biden doing shit. Biden's been part of government for so long. These are like Republican speaking points, but it's true. What's he gonna do now that he hasn't done for the last so many years? Like,
my point is
Black Lives
yes,
Matter.
There's going to be some other things that are going to happen. There are going to be some other things that need to happen, but at the beginning of this is what I'm talking about. This is really just putting the fire out. It's just putting the fire out.
I think I think you're both right to a certain degree. I think on an economic policy treaty level, Biden's team will be easier to deal with than the Trump team, to no benefit to the general Canadian population. Right.
We are accepting the shit that they've given us, Sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to interject that.
No, it's all what's really shaping up for me is old guard versus new guard. The demographics are changing significantly in what was colloquially known as the West. Right.
I think Biden's going to win.
Can I finish?
Well, you're so fucking slow. I mean, spit it out. Jesus.
Well, get the fuck used to it, bitch. So I'm old. My brain don't work fast. You fucking hopped up on cocaine, little motherfucker. What did I say? I forgot. No, with the changing demographics, I'm seeing the Dems at 10 to 15 years away from the demographic shift that will give them power, which is why the Republicans are so vehemently trying to gain control now and bring about all the strategies they've been trying to bring about. But this is also international. You're seeing the same thing in Brazil. You're seeing the same thing in West Asia, colloquially known as Europe. You're seeing a transforming West.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do this. Let's finish this podcast where we all get to make one final statement about what we think about the outcome of this election. We'll start with Rouv, and we'll just go clockwise. Then we'll go Todd. Then we'll go Lou. Then we'll go me.
No, you don't get to end it. You're the host.
I have to say bye. I'm the host this week.
Shut up. Shut up.
Final statements. Rouvan Silogix.
Okay, I want to say, first of all, thank you guys for having me. This has been a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, fuck you.
A little bit therapeutic, I'm going to say, man, it's like none of this is good. Thank God Trump is gone. Thank God he's gone. I don't even believe in God, but I do a little bit just because of this. And I do think he's gone. I think it'll be a little bit painful, or it could be very painful.
All right, Todd Van Allen.
Yes. I think for us, it's going to be, we haven't been able to talk to an adult in 4 years. That's the difference. So now we literally have to put out fires and go. Once that's done, just kind of look at each other square in the eye and go, "Hi, we're Canada. Let's get to know each other." Like it's really going to be like setting up a new thing, and I've just lost the internet again. Perfect. Okay. All right.
I'll finish off, and then I guess it's you, Todd.
Oh.
I think that if the Dems can hold out for 10 to 15 years against major Republican pushback, the demographics will change enough for them to have a continuous solid majority. I think they will be a civil war long before that.
Todd Van Allen.
I'll do this quickly before my internet goes away. I think what's going to happen is that we're finally talking to an adult, not a child, and then hopefully we can smooth things out. But I agree with Lou. I think it's going to take some time, and there will be a civil war. But here we are.
Wow. Okay. I'll just finish off our podcast here. I actually don't think much is going to change. I think that the media will be a little nicer just because Trump was so antagonistic and confrontational with them that he basically just told them to go fuck themselves every day. And then they spent the next 4 years telling him to go fuck themselves. It was just like that for 4 years. So I think that we're going to get like at least a little more polite media.
So what do you think of poodles? I just decided to do what you do.
But what's going to change? What's going to change? I mean, Trump is probably going to lose this election because he lost 5 points to white men. And I think it's because the white guys are like, oh, well, either way I win, Trump or Biden. Where with Hillary Clinton, it was like, well, I can't be a woman. It's got to be a white guy. And if you look at Biden's track record, there's no reason to think that anything is really going to change. And I think Rouvan's point is very intelligent. That's why someone like AOC, who would definitely change everything, is never going to get a chance to have real power, because you can't just change everything with the most dominant economy in the world. But look, we'll fight about it next week, and hopefully with Andrew Moody. Thanks to our special guest, Rouvan Silogix.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Rouvan.
This has been our special shit show election version of Upload. And if you like our show, then like it and share it and subscribe it. And just, I don't know, go fuck yourself.
Give me a hit of that.
Hey, and I haven't stopped recording.
Bye.
I'm in power. Ha, ha.
Bye.
Bye.